Hey guys, Diane here with the Green Eye Monster Review, and today I have a cozy fall recommendations for you. These are books that are going to be a little spooky, a little chilly, but it's not going to be too dark and demented. This is just to get you toward the Halloween season, and then I'll have a whole nother list of recommendations for Halloween, haunted house, all that fun stuff. So hit that like and subscribe, and we'll get into it. Okay, so first things first, I wanted to talk about a few of my favorites. These are more honorable mentions. I've talked about these books a lot. So if you've been on my channel, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, we know, you love those books. But first we have Needful Things by Stephen King. And besides it, I think this is my favorite Stephen King book. This book is it has such a far reach because it puts the town, you have all the people in the town. He just does such a good job of making you feel like you're a part of something. And this is just a phenomenal, it's right by the ocean. It's just great. So this is definitely one that I love to read, or at least revert back to almost every fall. And then we have The Silent Patient by Laura Purcell. And this is a great Gothic read. It's so atmospheric. It's rainy. It's scary, but not too scary, still cozy. This is definitely one that I will be reading again. And then we have, last but not least, The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. And I don't have the cover on it anymore because I've just read it so many times that it fell off. I've also listened to it. I've read it on the Kindle. Any form of this book I have read. This is just so cozy. There's rain, there's a bookstore, there's cups of tea. It's just perfect for fall. Okay, so now that we've got the old favorites out of the way, we're going to start with the new ones. So next we have C.W. Blackwell, Song of the Red Squire. And this book I've had on my TBR for a really long time. This is about a guy, he is an agricultural investigator, and he is sent to North Carolina where he is investigating different types of apples. He gets there, the farmers are like, nah, we don't need your help. What are you doing here? And he's a little discouraged, and so he goes to the local bar. He meets a woman, and she's like, oh, I can take you to this not creepy, not bizarre apple festival deep in the woods. And of course he's like, okay, let's do it. So he gets out there. Things go from weird to worse to sickening, but in the best way, because this is more of like an old world ritualistic type of festival, something he was really not prepared for. And it just is a really enveloping story, and it's only 150 pages, and there's a lot that happens in the 150 pages. Not only the storyline, but the just the events and everything that comes together to make this just a really atmospheric and very cozy fall read. A little creepy, a little scary, but not too grotesque, I guess is how I would say it. It's along the lines of maybe a Midsummer, and that's why I say it's creepy and scary, but not too grotesque, because if you've seen Midsummer, it's a little gross. But next we have His Black Tongue by Mitchell Luthi, and this is a Gothic story. This is about a town. It's very secluded. It's kind of in its own little area, and it's surrounded by plague. It's surrounded by witch burnings. There's a lot of things going on in the surrounding villages that hasn't touch them. And so the local church sends a priest out to figure out, like, what are you guys doing different? Is there something that you haven't told us that we need to be doing? Come to find out, they're in a world of their own. And this is a perfect mix of folk horror. It has a little cosmic horror. There's just everything you want for a really creepy and atmospheric read is in this book. I listened to it on Audible, and it has the rain coming down in the background. It has a beautiful voice that is just lulling you into the story. This is a perfect fall read. It's a little darker than some of the other books on this list, but it's definitely something that I feel like is going to get you into the spooky season. And then next we have The Woodkin by Alexander James, and this is a really fun story. This is about a guy, he's depressed. Him and his wife are going through some things. So he's like, you know, I'm just going to get away. I'm going to go to the woods. I'm going to go hiking and just clear my mind. So he gets there, and he's actually pushed towards a detour, which, you know, how that goes. So he's pushed into this little town where it's a little strange. There's also posters of missing hikers. And he's like, that's a little weird. You know, there's a lot of red flags, but I'm going to continue on my trip. And you know, hopefully have a good time. He doesn't have a good time. Spoiler, he doesn't have a good time. But this is a really fun ride. This is along the lines of maybe The Ritual by Adam Neville. So if you're into that woodsy, that creepy, something's chasing you, this is definitely something that I would recommend. And it was a little longer of a book, but it didn't feel that long. It was very enjoyable. I listened to this on Audible, and I felt like that was the right way to go. And then we have The Trees Crept In by Dawn Kurtagich. And this is about two young sisters. They are fleeing a very tumultuous, very abusive home life. They are going to their aunt's house, which is kind of tucked away in the woods. They get there, they feel safe. They're like, you know, this is just wonderful. But as time progresses, as cracks start to show not only her aunt, but in the surrounding area in the woods, there is warnings that there's someone watching them, and they're not sure if that's their father that they were fleeing from or if it's another entity in the woods. This was such a good read. It's like a lot of the books on this list is very atmospheric. It's very creepy. It's a little psychological as well. So I feel like this is a book that almost anyone would enjoy. This is probably one of my favorites. I would say it's my, I'm just not, it would be really hard to pick, but this is a really good pick. And then last but not least, we have A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. And this is about a young woman. She's a playwright. She gets a grant to produce this play that she's written. And so her and her friends go out. It's her girlfriend, and some actors for the play that she's writing. And things just get very weird once they get there. It's a secluded mansion out in the middle of nowhere, because obviously. And once they get there, a lot of things start to turn strange. People are acting different. They're acting weird. And the relationships are also being strained by forces that are unseen in the house. This was a really fun book. This was something that I could feel like it was an easy read, but it was entertaining. This is something that it's almost like a beach read, but for a fall. So if you're just going to cozy up on the couch and just, you know, get that hot cup of cocoa or tea or mulled wine, this would be perfect for that. So that was my list. Hopefully you guys can find something on there that really can get you into fall. And I will also have really scary stories for Halloween. So hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.